Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, hailing from Huntsville, Alabama, he weighs in tonight at 298 pounds, Conrad Thompson. But another challenge here tonight for Vince Russo, trying to prove he's the greatest wrestling podcaster on the planet today. Well, this man will beg to differ, Conrad Thompson. Very interesting to see how Conrad is going to fare inside that squared circle. You've got to believe if he can resist the urge to butt in mid-match and plug his mortgage broker company, he may have a pretty good chance, but resisting that urge is going to be very hard for this man. Nonetheless, Conrad Thompson, a very, very large and powerful athlete. He may just have what it takes here to defeat Vince Russo and to shut his mouth once and for all. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, being accompanied to the ring by Officer Tenpenny, he hails from New York and weighs in tonight at 207 pounds, Vince Russo. Well, the man that invented Stone Cold Steve Austin, the man that invented the Attitude Era, and the man that invented Reese's Pieces, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Russo, on a quest to prove he's the greatest podcaster, but it wasn't all plain sailing last week. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen. Vince Russo last week was victorious over Michelle McCool. A pretty dominant victory. And it looked like spectacular scenes. It looked like a great ending for Vince Russo. Until Jim Cornette made an appearance, coming down to the ring and going after the man he's hated more than life itself for a long, long time. Cornette was really doing a number on Vince Russo until Officer Tenpenny coming out and enforcing that restraining order that Vince Russo had put on Jim Cornette a long time ago now. Legal proceedings have been going on and Stephen P. New has worked his magic. He's not been able to get Cornette completely out of trouble. Jim Cornette has been placed under house arrest. He's wearing an ankle monitor and that is where he's going to remain in Kentucky for another 6 months. There's no chance of Jim Cornette coming out with that ankle monitor on sat at Castle Cornette. He may be watching this match at home though. And he'll be hoping that Conrad Thompson can teach Vince Russo a lesson. Here, and look at that. Vince Russo telling Conrad to bring it, and Conrad doing exactly that. Well, Vince Russo, if he is in a 30-year loan, Conrad's not going to be helping him here. And Conrad Thompson, I tell you what, considering this is his first match in professional wrestling, a pretty good start here. All out aggression from this very big man and a big palm to the chest of Russo. Look at Tenpenny, disappointed, now a hired gun. Supposed to be an impartial enforcer of the law. But a thug for hire here. Vince Russo has hired the services of Tenpenny. He doesn't want any repeat of last week when Jim Cornette nearly got his hands on him, nearly finished him off. He doesn't want anyone else to do that. Tenpenny almost like an unofficial bodyguard now, and look at Conrad knocking Russo to the outside. Thus far, a dominant performance. Russo unable to do anything. The former WCW World Champion not producing a good performance. Here, and look at Conrad knocking him to the outside again. Absolutely destroying Russo. Elbow right to the face. Look at Tenpenny. He can't believe it either. His man not faring well here, and look at Conrad with that beautiful swinging net breaker. Maybe some of his podcast co-hosts have been giving him some advice. Jim Ross, Bruce Pritchard. Of course, his father-in-law Ric Flair would be a great source of advice. And look at that, a beautiful swinging net breaker again by Conrad. Really dominant here, and Vince Russo getting absolutely destroyed. Oh, double collision there, but Conrad charging in and choking Vince Russo on the canvas. The New York native really suffering here at the hands of hey, it's Conrad. Conrad with those heavy knife-edge chops. Vince Russo could be close to being finished off here as Conrad sends him into the corner, comes running in. Beautiful clothesline by the big man. And now Conrad goes off the ropes trying to launch an attack. Look at that though. Russo stepping out of the way. Conrad's momentum still carrying him. Oh, and oh no. Conrad, a big man. going all out in this match, and he may have just run out of steam. He may have run out of stamina here. He's gasping for air. And oh, what a way to win a match. Vince Russo the winner, but only because Conrad ran out of steam. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Vince Russo. What a crappy way to win a match, but nonetheless, Vince Russo will get his hand raised, victorious here. Another win for that man. And you've got to believe it. Wait a minute! Jim Cornette from the crowd! How the hell is Jim Cornette? He's supposed to be under house arrest. He's supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor. How the hell has Cornette got out of that ankle monitor? Oh, but Tenpenny, the long arm of the law, going after him, tries the right hand, but Cornette from behind picks up Tenpenny, drops him on his head with that back suplex. Cornette will not be stopped. He wants to get his hands on Vince Russo. And now a stare down with Tenpenny. He's got enough charges, he might as well make assault on a police officer, another one. Oh, but Tenpenny now taking Cornette down. The long arm of the law, unavoidable here for Jim Cornette. He's going to be rearrested. He may face significant charges now. Evading house arrest, he's going to do time for this. And you can understand why Cornette wanted to come out here. But it may have been a bad decision, but nonetheless, right hands to the face of Officer Tenpenny of the Los Santos Police Department. Cornette, Irish whip, sends him for the right, but look at Tenpenny with a reversal, and now right hands to the face of James E. Cornette. Cornette unable to fight Tenpenny here, unable to fight the law, and now look at Vince Russo coming in now that he senses that there's no longer any danger from Cornette, now that Tenpenny has contained the threat. Now he comes in, getting his cheap shots in. Kick to the back of the head, and a double team now. This is not what the American legal system should be, and another poke to the eye by Tenpenny. Not quite sure how that works through a pair of glasses, but nonetheless he managed it. And now look at this, the two-man double teaming him, and Vince Russo with a drop kick. Cornette had a master plan. He somehow escaped house arrest. He somehow removed an ankle monitor. But it may have been a bad decision here, and now Russo with that sledgehammer, nailing Jim Cornette. Cornette will not go down though, but now Russo choking him from behind. Not the ending we wanted here. Cornette may do some serious jail time for this. If you want some great created wrestlers in your game, but without going through the lengthy process of creating them yourself, well, I can help you out with that. If you play on PS2 or PS2 emulator, I can create just for you a custom save data file and preload it with up to 30 created wrestlers that you have chosen. If you're interested, send me an email at pastgengamingemail@gmail.com. My email is linked on the main channel page, and I can also do this for the PSP, but on PSP I can only do save files for the European version of the game.